Alone anymore. 'Cause when we're together, then we've got a lot. 'Cause I am the river and you are the shore. Watching the river run further and further from things that we've done, leaving them one by one, and we have just begun. Watching the river run further and turning and yearning. Run, river, run. Winding and swirling and dancing along, as by the old willow tree, where lovers caress as we sing them a song. No maturity. Watching the river run further and further from things that we've done, leaving them one by one, and we have just begun. Watching the river run, birthing and turning and yearning. Run, river, run.
Was that part even on there? No. Not even on there.
But don't run.
Give me a sec. Cannibal King? Anybody know the Cannibal King? Cannibal King? About King. 50. Cannibal King. I'm like, we say about it. That's scary. Flashlight.
Oh, wait. It's alright. It's alright. You're okay.
You're done.
You're alright.
You got the words, you guys.
We don't know.
I don't even think I've ever heard it said.
No. That was a different.
It's in the book.
I did. I'm just really old. Yeah.
I didn't want you to spell it out.
No, but I know it.
I am not. Recognize her and say that there's a girl I'd like to know. She's got that good old Fiesta pep and go. And just to look at her is quite a treat. It's hard to beat a Campo Fiesta, Campo Fiesta, Campo Fiesta girl.
I smelled that smell that anyway.
Well, I'm just saying we're that serious. Yeah. It is a treat to be able to.
Okay, Jeannie, I'm going to cry without even saying anything.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
My name's Deb Jantho. I was here from 80 to 85. And explain it.
Okay.
Explain it.
I came up here. I'm Janine Benskin, or Janine Paris, I guess, or Mariana, and I was here from 81 through 89, minus a year in there. But
So in 80,
Deb was here before me.
so I was here in 80 as the recipient.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. There's a story here. There's a story here. So Pablo and Bettina, they belong to a church in Florida, the Unitarian Church.
Unitarian Fellowship in Florida.
And my great aunt belonged to the same congregation, and every year they would donate a camper ship. So in 1980, I got that camper ship.
And I actually went. My family was in the congregation with Pablo and Bettina, and down in South Florida. So I came up here from Florida. I got the camper ship the year after Deb, but they donated it to the fellowship with all of the money going to the fellowship. as a service to their church. They were active there. Otherwise, I would have. So my family. Someone mentioned about their family knowing about camp. My parents have no idea. None.
Yeah.
But they even realize it is special.
And it was totally a whim on my aunt's part to, she's like, oh, my niece, she might like that. That would be kind of cool. I'm from Chicago, and she lived in Florida, and she thought this would be a nice thing to give to me. And so she donated, basically did the donation for the campership to the church, and that's why I got to camp, because I would have never been here otherwise. And then my aunt can continue to send me every year. Wow.
And I just begged my parents. And I said it before my sister came also on a camper ship. And I think through the auction, she came for 2 years. Some of you know her. But I said it before. She came to camp 2 years. It didn't really take. Those of us that are here, camp took.
So I just want to say thank you. It's just wonderful.
And I have kind of a funny story to add as being here. Okay, so Deb and I and Ann were all CITs together. And with Teresa Monty
as our CIT director.
Was our CIT director. So for us, our whole little group is back here, so that's really special. But another funny little story from last night. Pablo was here. We needed Pablo last night because we had boys come into camp last night. In Ferns. Deb and I are staying in Ferns, and we had boys come up to the cabin last night.
What? Really? Should somebody hear this?
But some of you... Yes, they were calling somebody's name. I was a counselor in Ferns. I was probably 18 or 19 or 20, so I wasn't very old. And then I had these 16-year-old girls in Ferns. I think to this day they were up to it, but there was somebody came up to Ferns in the middle of the night, a couple nights in a row, banging on the doors, walking up to the door. And Pablo's solution to it was to give me a bullhorn with a siren that we could use to call him if, we're clear over the winter cabin and we're in Ferns, if any of these people came back. And all the girls swore up and down that they had nothing to do with it, or didn't know who was at the cabin. So we have these group of 16-year-old girls. So last night I was having tremendous flashbacks to needing Pablo and that bullhorn to call him. So if we see a bullhorn or we see boys here at camp again, we're sending off that siren for Pablo.
Boy, we got away with murder.
And Bettina, again, I was here, I'm sorry, I'm a talker. Bettina, I had the opportunity to come up in 2009 to see, for the reunion. And then I came up last summer as well with a couple, I keep calling you guys girls, women. And one of the things that stuck with me from what we had booked it way before Pablo had passed away. And so during the family memorial, we kind of hid, we stalked your family, sorry, we did, but we stayed up on the hill trying to be respectful, but we saw the fireworks and it was beautiful, and we came down the next day and were visiting with Bettina, and one of the things that Bettina and I talked about was the difference between sad versus sorrowful, that what had transpired the night before was sad, but it wasn't sorrowful. And we could hear all of your family singing from the top of the hill, and the joy of the celebration of their lives. And then hearing Bettina the next day reinforce that was just, as an adult now looking back, I just was really glad to have those few minutes with her as well. So funny stories, and Bettina did bust me once doing something I wasn't supposed to do at camp as a counselor, so, and she forgave me for it, so yay.
Been there.
But it wasn't just once though.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you know it, show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, shout hurrah. If you're happy and you know it, shout hurrah, hurrah. If you're happy and you know it, and you're not afraid to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hurrah, hurrah. Well, you can't do.